Once known as the mighty city of Byzantium, Istanbul has had a colorful history as it changed hands over the past 2 millennia. It has been owned by 4 empires, was a champion city of 2 religions, and evidence of its many cultural heritages still lies scattered across its lands. But why should we care about Turkey today? Why should anything going on in that country have anything to do with any of our future endeavors? Well, what I have to say will not only help change your mind on the financial opportunities in Turkey, but hopefully our opinions of the country as well. For several months, I have been studying the country of Turkey. Some of it through obligations, but as my knowledge of the country grew, so too did my respect and admiration for the country. No matter what came their way, they managed to survive, and it became a Cinderella story unto themselves. No matter if the challenge was financial, cultural, or traditional, they managed to persevere on, and I am excited to see where their story takes them. To help illustrate this point, I will talk about 3 areas that Turkey has managed to place in the forefront of its economy. The first being their agricultural sector, the second being their financial sector, and the third being their tourist sector. Now let's begin. In Turkey, agricultural work has proved to be a prominent staple in the country's overall success in the worldwide market. According to the European Commission of Agriculture and Rural Development, Turkey's farming community makes up over 24% of the country's workforce, while 35% of the country's lands are dedicated solely to farming. And why not? The country happens to be blessed with fertile soil, and is in a perfect location to produce a lot of high-yield products that are in great demand all over the world, such as wheat and tobacco. While it might seem that Turkey has had no difficulties in becoming one of the biggest producers of food, they did have to go through quite a few hoops before their people could have the freedom to choose for themselves what they wanted to do. It wasn't until after World War I that Turkey won its independence from the Ottomans and became a new sovereign republic. But still, there were many challenges that they had to face. According to Helen Chaplin of the U.S. Library of Congress, before the war, over 50% of Turks worked in agriculture. Afterwards, only 11% remained. It took several years before the lands that were torn by war were mended, and new policies which could help farmers get the support they need arose. Due to the country trying to harmonize its labor laws with the EU, farmers were able to get income recompensation, and also had improved access to fertilizer, fuel, and advanced farming methods. Now they are one of the only countries that is 100% self-sufficient food-wise, and they are the largest producer in figs and hazelnuts in the world. They are 4th in vegetable exports and 6th in tobacco. It's pretty impressive for a country that couldn't stand on its own 2 feet only a few years before. But while their food production might be extraordinary, they would be nowhere without their dynamic financial sector. In fact, a statistical report put out by the Banks Association of Turkey showed that since 1980, over 29 separate banks have opened all across the country. Here's an example of a few ATMs outside of a local mall. In the time leading up to the 1990s, the Turkish government developed the bad habit of selling high-interest bonds to foreign investors in order to keep their national deficit low, but was unable to pay for them when the time came. When the country started pulling out, the interest was too high for Turkey to pay, and their deficit grew, and soon a Great Depression had settled across the country. This was the beginning of an economic crash that left the country completely destabilized, and many people lost their jobs. But they didn't let this stop them. And today they have one of the most dynamic and expansive banking systems across the world. Due to their strong foothold in the world's economy through their exports in food, automotive products, and construction services, they were able to keep themselves afloat as demand for these specific products rose across the rest of Europe. As of 2013, Turkey boasted a 4% economic increase in only their first quarter. This marks the 18th quarter in a row that the country has had significant growth, making it the fastest growing economy in the world today. This is a great feat that few countries to date can boast of, and it happened through no small part of just good old elbow grease and good luck. Now with a stable economy and a multitude of cultural draw-ins, Turkey has also started to profit greatly through international travel, which is why the last thing we'll be talking about is their tourism sector. As a result of its several owners over the past couple millennia, Turkey has a variety of cultural sites that draw visitors in from all over the world. People come from far and wide to see such sites as the Hagia Sophia, and the Great Bazaar, along with several other palaces and mosques that the country is famous for. In 2011, it was estimated by the Republic of Turkey's Ministry of Culture and Tourism that 31 million people visited the country in that 1 year alone. That is almost half the size of the country's current population, and that number jumped to almost 40 million that next year. It's safe to say that tourism in Turkey is proving to be very profitable for their country, but historic sites are not all that they have to offer. With beautiful blue waters and sandy beaches, it's almost a little slice of paradise. They also have numerous spas, which are renowned all around the world as some of the best around. With all the tourists coming in each year, Turkey has announced that they plan on making the largest airport in the world to handle a large flow of people coming in and out of the country. No wonder they are listed as the 6th largest tourist destination in the world, making them not only one of the largest growing economies, but also one of the most beautiful and cultured ones as well. Now, as I come to a close, I hope my presentation has helped to shed a positive light on the little country of Turkey. We have talked only about a few of Turkey's greatest boons: agriculture, international trade, their financial sector and the stock market crash, and lastly, their luck in tourism. I hope now that I have made it apparent how one can come to admire the country's resolve in the face of adversity. They went through numerous hardships and have came out better on the other side, but the story's still not over. The trend they are setting will only continue, and new opportunities are sure to arise. But where will we be when they do? I know I'll be keeping my eye on Turkey.